More Than a Horse, brought to you by Woodland Stud in conjunction with Northern Rivers Equine, proudly standing lather up this season for the 2020 season. This is actually, I'll be official, Clayton, this is actually a take two because some person didn't have everything set up quite properly. And I must say, he's a beautiful horse because he's actually been standing there the whole time. If he needs to go away, mate, please put him away at his stage.
He wants his carrots, to be honest.
He's a ripping horse, and we were just saying then. The question I asked was when he first came to the property, what was your first thoughts on him? Do you remember the first time you actually did something with him and you thought to yourself, wow?
Yeah, well, we were actually getting him up and going, and he's a great type of horse. And I was just a little bit concerned. I was just telling you before we went off. When he was coming up, he had a little bit of fluid in his tendon sheaths, and he was quite a big horse, and always a great gaited horse, as you can see now, and really smooth going horse. And we got his tendons scanned, and they said he had fluid in the tendon sheath, but there was no damage in both of his tendons, and they didn't look great. Not bowy, but just fluidy, and he was a little bit upright in the passing, so we just give him time and turned him out and brought him back as a 3-year-old. And it's funny, Jared Jamison, who works for me, actually jogged some of them up over in Maryborough for Peter. And I said to him, I've got a colt there. I said, can you jog him up for me? I said, I really like him. Anyway, he's there, and I said, make sure you start throwing the hobbles on that colt before he comes back, And he took him out to Maryborough track because his track's a little bit tight to hobble on, and he's there, and he might have went 28 and a half outside the hats, and this was as a 3-year-old, and hadn't done a lot. And Jared rang me, or he might have come the next day, and he goes, I think this horse is a bit too good for me to keep at Maryborough. He goes, you better get him home pretty quick.
So when he was a 2-year-old, like you said, he got the filling in the tendons and the likes, but he showed you enough to probably get an opinion of him, I suppose.
Yeah.
He is a big colt. He's a surprising horse when you stand alongside of him compared to when you look at him from a distance. Did you think about gelding him?
No, never. I don't geld the horses. Like I say, if Peter had his choice, he'd geld every one of them. But no. To be honest with you, I don't geld any of my colts. It'd have to be something pretty drastic for me to geld one. I don't geld them.
One of the ideas of these podcasts is to get to know the horses, and as I said, this is a take two. But you were saying he got his name Chainsaw, basically, which is his stable name, after his race name, which is unusual. Generally, horses will get a stable name before they actually get a race name.
Yeah, well, to be honest with you, All the Breeze, his brother, was supposed to be called Ride High, and when I actually went to qualify him, the names were mixed up because Peter thought that because they were both by Art Major, they're full brothers, and he named the wrong one, Ride High, and the next year was him and he was Ride High. So actually Emma came up with the name Chainsaw after the Bucking Bull.
Yeah, after the Rodeo Bulls on PBR on Foxtel.
Yeah.
It's good watching, and he was he was a champion Chainsaw. I think he got ridden about 3 times or 4 times, not very often anyway, I know that. When did you say, wow, like, can you remember a moment at all when you're bringing him up that you thought, hello, this is, special? I'm sure you've got plenty of horses and it's hard to remember when they're special, but when all of a sudden you thought, wow, this is a little bit different?
To be honest with you, when he came back from Jared's, we hadn't run him up a lot because he was so big. But when he came back, I still remember, I think me and Sam went out one day and we let him brush up sort of the last furlong, and like, he's got this tendency, he's a funny horse. When you want him to go, he'll put his tail up and he's off, and he just did it with so much natural speed, and it was just effortless for him just to run a real solid furlong. And you just say, yeah, this is just a bit of a thing where you've just got to, don't get ahead of yourself. I think he's pretty special. Let's just go through the process of letting him become a good horse, because he had so much natural pace and such great gaited. You think to yourself, you just wanted to get him stronger.
Yeah, and we'll get to a few of the things you alluded to me at Ballarat, because as I said, More Than a Horse is actually your idea, not that you know it, but just sitting down having a little conversation, which I'm lucky enough to be able to do race nights, and you alluded to it. But one of the things I want to do for people is actually to be able to let people get to know these horses and see the inner parts of them. He started developing through that early career. Was there a race, or was there a defining, like a race that you thought, yeah, he is the real deal, this horse?
To be honest with you, we were working him here, and we had a real good crop of 3-year-olds that year, and the sires and that were coming around pretty quick, and he hadn't had any racing. But the night he sat outside poster boy at Kilmore, and they went home. It was a cold night, and they got home in 25-7. You knew he was extra special. And to be honest with you, we thought he was real special, and that's why I took him to Tassie for a trip away.
Yep.
He had no experience, but he worked with all these horses the whole way through, going into the sires. And so we thought we'd boat him away to Tassie, take him away, and give him that sort of trip away to sort of just season his mind up a little bit. And like I say, probably just before the sires, what he could work at home, we knew he was special. It was just more a timing thing where he didn't have a lot of racing.
Yep.
So
you needed that time to toughen him up. One of the things we spoke to about at Ballarat was how different he is with certain people. He is a true stallion, and this is where it started to get me thinking, where people can actually get an understanding. Anyone watching right now would say you and him have got a bromance happening, and get along really well. But you were telling me he has more than his share of quirks.
Oh yeah, he's a character of a horse. As you can see, he's looking for carrots in my pockets now, and he's one of them horses that he can be quite gentle, but in the same time he can get himself upset. I think when Mark Pitt, I think he pulled me thing off the jacket. When he drove him, and
it's at your feet, so stop panicking.
Oh, yeah, that's right, he was chewing it up. I'm like, oh my god.
Me too.
And he kicked Mark, because he's one of them ones, after a race he can get himself real lit up.
Yeah.
And he kicked Mark going back to scale, and he could kick the cart and all that sort of stuff. And it was just, he's not tendency to be like that, but if he hots himself up, like the other night at Ballarat, he didn't do a lot. And I know it's not sounding arrogant, but he got in the wash bay and he was that lit up, he was just off his tree because he hadn't done a lot, And it's funny, we live in town, and I said to Sam, I said, can you take him home, and we've got 2 cameras in the back of our truck. And they went to put him out in the truck, and he was off his head. And he's not tendency to like that, but he just got himself lit up, and he's pig rooting all the way home back to here. And Sam's ringing me, he's like, if this horse gets hurt, he goes, I am absolutely crapping myself.
And he obviously didn't. That's for sure. One of the things though you did allude to when we were talking to him, you said, like, if you put him out in the paddock, he can be a bit funny.
Oh, for sure. He likes being. It's a strange thing where some, like with stallions, because they're a little bit more individualised, because they're by themselves most of the time and all that sort of stuff, but they become real attached to people. I think what ours do, definitely. And like, I can hand pick him and he's happy, but if I put him out, he's looking, being a sook, wanting you to be there with him. Like he doesn't. Like 2 Sundays ago, if you have a look behind us, we've got the best pasture out there, and I put him out in the big paddock, and he thought that I was going to leave him there for life. I think I rode off on the bike, and he ran up and he's carrying on, and like I say, he was just happy. He was happy if I stayed there, but if he thought he was getting left there, he got himself real upset. It was like today when you turned up, just before you turned up actually, he was out in the paddock. And I whistled out to him, and he come running over. He's like, "Yeah, I've had enough."
Yeah.
But I just had him just outside the barn. But if he's there with you, he's fine. But he's a funny horse like that.
Yeah, and you're not saying this in a big-headed way. This is what I'm trying to bring about these horses about. They do have their weird little ways. You're saying to me at Ballarat that if you sit there and watch him, he's okay. But if he knows you're not watching, the next minute he's kicking at the gate.
Yeah, like if he thinks you've rode off or you've left him down there, that he's going to stay there all night. Like he wants to come into his box, you know, and he wants to be cared for. Like he's a bit of a sook like that. He's you know, you'd think with other horses around he'd be happy to be with the other horses, but it's more that he thinks I'll have a little bit of time to myself, but don't leave me here for too long.
So he sort of likes the humans as much as...
Oh, for sure.
And you can see that just looking at him just there. Like, I mean, that's just a beautiful photo. You can just see him just standing there, the pair of his, and get on. I won't hold you for too long, but what's his best win? Like, what would you rate as his best win so far?
I think the Breeders' Crown, when he won the Breeders' Crown, he sort of, I think, I'm not sure actually how many races he had before the Breeders' Crown, but he was pretty inexperienced then, and he sort of had, like, you know, Poster Boy, Colt 31, Ignatius. It was a great field of real nice up and coming horses, and then all of a sudden he got to the front and peeled a 25 quarter and just left him standing. And his last furlong was just, you know, scintillating. I know he had a good run in front, but just the way he just left them real nice horses, like, I thought that was pretty special because he hadn't had a lot of season racing.
We've got one of the guard dogs has come in and come in to say hello while he was going. He, like you say about him being a different horse. Now all of a sudden he's just happy. Like he knows you got no carrots. He's ruined your jacket. Now he's happy. I've done one with Wobbly. I've done one with Lochinvar Art. Travel, unfortunately, right at the minute is a bit tricky. But is travel on the radar with him? And when I say travel, New Zealand, or would you like to take him perhaps to America and the likes?
I'm not real sure about America. I definitely would love to travel him. I just think he's the sort of horse that, you know, it would be unfair to him not to travel him and take him to all the best opportunities for the horse. But yeah, it's one of them things. America is a massive thing, but I would love to go, and I think he would be the perfect horse to take. But yeah, no, we've got a lot going on next door at the minute, so. Yeah, it'd be an amazing thing. It'd probably be an amazing thing for the horse because I'd hate to think what sort of times he could run in the States. It'd be amazing.
I've done a stable chat with you before. I'm going to have to come and do another stable chat later on and promote what you're doing with everything else behind. And I'm not going to hold you too much longer because I appreciate you giving me this time now. But I spoke to Dave Moran about being the pin-up horse or horses at the minute, you know. And I'm not going to ask you to comment on a match race, but do you understand and do you appreciate, like, the fanfare? These horses are nearly taking thoroughbreds off the mainstream, if you know what I mean. Like they're actually getting more coverage than what the standard breds are. Do you enjoy that part of it, and are you aware of it?
Yeah, I think it's great for the industry. I think it's sort of, there's a real strong pool of horses at the minute where it puts a lot of interest in, you know, when they meet and all that sort of stuff. And I think it's great for the industry, and I do enjoy it because you know, it'd be crazy to say you didn't enjoy having a horse like him. That's what we dream of.
I was going to say, so when you were a kid, did you ever, this is the sort of horse you wanted, or is he better than what you were dreaming?
I think, yeah. Like, to be honest with you, when I had Safari, I just thought he was absolutely, like, he was special to me, and you know, he taught me a lot of things, and you know, he had an unbelievable will to win and had no quit. And then I always, like, we've had some great horses along the way, and you always say to yourself, wouldn't it have been great if Safari just had a little bit more high speed, you know, and look at all these things. And then when this horse come along, I'm like, this horse has got everything, you know. And yeah, this is the sort of horse I dreamt about.
he has got everything in your eyes. You're like, he's as strong as he is, fast and adaptable.
Yeah, well, I'm not real sure about sort of a horse. I'm not sure about him driving him in the death and all that sort of stuff. I think in the right grade. I'm not saying he's a safari sort of horse, but if they went hot tempo, I think he's got everything you want in him. I haven't seen too many faults in the horse, and everything he's done has been more than exceptional.
I asked Chris Alford I didn't ask Chris, I actually asked Allison if Chris ever chooses between Noopy Kiosk and Wobbly, and it's a question he doesn't want to answer. Safari and this bloke, or is that similar thing that you wouldn't?
Do I think this horse has got the potential of being the best horse? Yeah, I do. To be honest with you, and take nothing away from the other horse, because he was a freak to me, and we've still got him.
I know. I saw great photos. I'll actually put it with what you put up on Facebook the other day for everyone to see. They'll be actually hopefully watching it right now when we put it up. But yeah. Yeah, no,
he's like I say, I personally think this horse has got the potential to be the best horse I've ever trained.
Yep. Which is a huge wrap. Clayton, thank you so much, mate. This has been More Than a Horse with Ride High, proudly brought to you by Woodland Stud in conjunction with Northern Rivers Equine. They proudly sponsor it, and I must say thank you very much. They're standing lather up this season at Northern Rivers Equine. Thank you very much, mate.
All good.
A mile and 1/8 in the Sam McKee Memorial. Here they come. And they're off, and This Is the Plan, flashing speed, and a big blast off from Dunwell. Dunwell to the front for Dexter Dunn. This Is the Plan from the inside. Dorso Durrell Hanover. McWicked is fourth, and Ideal Feeling gets away fifth. Highlighter sixth. Filibuster Hanover going up seventh on the outside. Then on the inside, as they race the turn, it's Dunwell. And they race around the first turn with Beckham Z-Tam at the rear of the field, followed by Endeavor. Next to last here is Delta Winner, and then it's Western Joe. So lather up at the quarter in a wicket 25-1. It's lather up as they race off the turn and across the backstretch they go in the Sam McKee Memorial. Lather up, and This Is the Plan with Dorso Durrell Hanover in the third spot, and McWicked is a loose fourth at this point. Filibuster Hanover fifth on the inside. Highlighter goes up on the outside sixth. He'll be followed by Dunwell on the outside. Then it's Beckham Z-Tam, Endeavor to the outside, and at the rear of the field it's Delta Winner, and Western Joe, the defending champion, is last. A half up in 53 seconds, so it's lather up, the fastest horse in Meadowlands history and co-holder of the world record of 146, in front by 2 for Montreal Teague. This Is the Plan on the inside second. First over comes McWicked, the horse of the year. He's off win. Brian Sears has him a gear now second on the outside. Live cover for Filibuster Hanover, and Tetrick now fourth on the outside. Dorso Durrell Hanover is shoveled to fifth. Ideal Feeling to the outside sixth. So they hook up past 3/4 in 1:20-1. It's lather up and McWicked. This Is the Plan right there on the inside as they turn home and into the stretch of the Sam McKee Memorial. Lather up. McWicked on the outside appears to have gotten a cold shoulder here. Lather up in front by 2, now 3, and he's getting away. This Is the Plan on the inside. Then it's McWicked and Dorso Durrell Hanover. Lather up absolutely destroys them, and he wins again. Lather up. Then This Is the Plan. McWicked and Dorso Durrell Hanover in 1:59-2 for the mile and 1/8.